ready when you are.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Hamid Webcam, and I would like to point out to you guys that currently everyone is connected to two different worlds. We're connected to our virtual world and our physical world, all because of a simple device, which you all have, and it looks kind of like this. Well, not specifically like this, because it kind of worries me that you might rob something right after. But this simple device keeps us all connected, and well, yeah. What gave me the idea of being connected to two different worlds was after watching the documentary Game Over, and they were telling stories that people brought their virtual worlds into real life through cosplay, through social interactions, and even helping them isolate themselves from their actual life. But instead of video games, I noticed that we do all of the same things, but through our cell phones. After reading the articles, The Cell Phone, An Agent of Social Change by Abu Sabat Nural, and the Communications Journal, Cell Phone Usage and the Social Interactions of Our Proximities with Others by Omotayo Banjo, Yifeng Q, and Shyam Sundar, I began to see how social devices have not only changed our culture, but also affected how we socially interact with each other. From the phone being more than a phone, to isolating us, to even providing us new forms of social communications with each other. It has gone from a convenience to a tool of necessities. The phone not only helps us at work through being a calculator, a scheduler, and a roadmap, it also entertains us by letting us listen to music, download movies, play video games, and even connect with each other in social networks. So with all of this, I'm pretty sure everyone's connected to Facebook on their phone at the moment as I speak. And not only that, but we can also use it to look up recipes and even for unconventional purposes, like apps for flashlight and other useless kind of things. But the fact is that it can fit in our pockets, so it allows us to take it anywhere we want. And that is where it causes a bit of a few issues. Because the phone is so versatile, it helps us shut out the world around us by letting us live in our own virtual reality. On the bus, in the waiting room, or even driving, I'm pretty sure that everyone's had that moment where they feel their phone buzz or they hear noise, and just for a split second they take their eyes off the road just to see what time it is or who sent them a text. Pretty safe, I know. But on top of that, the proximity article also says that it also helps us interact with others differently. Sometimes we don't feel like being very social with people that we're unfamiliar with, so having a cell phone out shows us that we want to be left alone, but at the time we're not being alone. We're actually connected with people that we're familiar with. And it also says that people are more likely to be less verbal, smile less, and even be less helpful when they have a cell phone out than other people which do not. And even though, just as people choose to form groups with friends and people that they find familiar, it's also the same way that people decide to interact with people that are familiar, whether they're close, nearby, or far away, than strangers that they might not know. And even though it also affects how we behave in our proximity, it also brings us all together through social networks and other interactions. Parents can keep in touch with their children by having them send texts every once in a while still giving the children the feeling that they are independent and they can be off on their own. Friends can now start planning and change plans at a moment's notice. And the use of social networks always keeps everyone posted on what their friends are doing, how they're feeling, and any events that are going on in their life. And now it's common for two people to add each other on Facebook and to start moving away from using the phone to make phone calls to just sending each other messages over and over again. And that is good because that's how people nowadays are building relationships and even ending them too. And the thing I found interesting was that it does make sense because it's always more comfortable to interact with someone through a small screen. It gives you time to think, and it doesn't leave you with those self-conscious thoughts. Does my breath smell? Do I look good? How is my body language looking? And the virtual world does help us overcome all these self-insecurities by giving us control of who we are and who we can be. And it's only human nature to be accepted by others. So in conclusion, mobile devices have their many uses and not only impact our culture, but our social behavior as well. They can be used as tools for daily life. They can, oh, they can be used as tools for daily life, distractions to keep us to ourselves, and a normal part of social interactions between people. So the phone has its negative effects and its positive effects, but I like to see it more as a social hammer of sorts. You can either use that hammer to build bridges and expand relationships with others, or you can use it to fence yourself in a comfort zone when you're in an unfamiliar place. So I leave you with that thought, and thank you for having me here.